I'm pretty sure my coping mechanism is problematic. Hey everyone, it's me, Halise, endeavoring to persevere as always. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this video, a quick side quest. So, we're currently in the midst of a pandemic, and I'm sorry if I'm preventing you from having a little bit of an escape from that, but let's be real, you did click on a video that was called, How Are You Coping? So, I think you know what you signed up for, and frankly, we love to see it. Now, as a Virgo, I generally stan a good stat, a good figure, a good metric, if you will, but not these. They're stats about human lives. As of this date, this many people have died from COVID-19 in the United States alone. And this number is not to belittle the death that is happening around the world as well from COVID-19, because I've got that stat too, fam. Here's how many people have died in the world from COVID-19. The shocking thing, we here in the United States make up a fourth of the total deaths from COVID-19 globally. We are only 4% of the world's population, and we make up a fourth of the deaths. And yeah, I'm purposely not saying the numbers, because I knew by the time I recorded this part of the video, they would have increased. Again, I want you, whoever you are watching this video, to have a long, healthy, and fruitful life, filled with love. And the only way that can happen is if you survive this. I want you to survive this. So please wear a mask, one that covers your nose and your mouth. I have linked some resources in the description box about how to wear a mask, how to wash a mask, and if necessary, or if you're just crafty like that, how to make a mask. Shout out to the CDC for coming in clutch with the tutorials, amen? And yes, if you were wondering, one of my mom's church friends did make me a Wakanda mask, okay? Ibombe! Like I said before, I want you to have a long, healthy, and fulfilling life, but that can't happen if you don't stay safe and protect yourself. So, please wear a mask. I think it's a small ask. Side quest over. So I wanted to check in with you and see how you're coping through this time. Not only are we dealing with a pandemic, but also civil unrest. And I don't know about y'all, but I find myself in a feeling of constant frustration, anger, and frankly, fear. For me, in times of chaos, I tend to take the make a way out of no way approach. Maybe it has something to do with being a descendant of slaves. Who's to say? I was raised in the identity of struggle. That whole grit your teeth and bear it, you know what I'm saying? That melanated stiff upper lip, if you will. Now, I am the first to admit that this coping mechanism has aided me, not only here on this channel, but overall as a video producer. However, what I find is that this coping mechanism hinders emotional growth. There have been times where things have happened where my emotional response is incredibly delayed, if I even respond at all. It's almost like I have found comfort and familiarity in the chaos. Back in March, I found this IG post. Yes, I got shook by a pretty text post on IG. To be fair, it was a therapist network account, so it said, and I quote, "If you're feeling weirdly calm during this pandemic, it could be an indicator that chaos is familiar to you. Despite feeling calm right now, having previously survived chaos could actually make you more susceptible to re-traumatization during this time. Check in with yourself. You deserve care too." And I mean, I definitely didn't feel like getting dragged when I opened Instagram that day, but here we are. Progress, or whatever. Story time. Now, this story is going to talk about processing and grieving death, so if that's not something you're really feeling like doing right now, just go ahead and skip to this time code, and then you can pick up from here. A few years ago here on this channel, I made a film called Why I Don't Tell Fictional Stories, and it was an appreciation of a family friend who had passed away earlier that year. What I didn't talk about when making that film was the fact that I was there when he died. He had been sick for a very long time, and his family finally made the incredibly hard decision to take him off life support. Now, this man was my father's best friend. And so, rightfully so, he wanted to be there when this happened. But his employer wouldn't let him take the time away. So he asked if I could go instead. And of course, I said yes. This man had also been one of many great father figures in my life. So, on my lunch break, I went to the ICU and I watched him die. And then I went back to work. I watched a man pass away. And I just kept working. Sometimes making a way out of no way is problematic. I want to say he died on a Tuesday. I didn't realize that I was actively grieving until Saturday. And it wasn't that I couldn't function. I could. It wasn't that the work didn't get done. It did. It was that even though I had slept 8 hours, I still felt tired when I woke up. Even though I was still productive, I didn't quite get as much done as I usually do in a day. It was subtle. A subtle shift. And here's the thing, I feel it again now during this time as I continue to get things done in spite of everything else that's happening around me, in spite of the chaos that seems to surround me. Now again, my coping mechanism is to make a way out of no way. So here are a few other coping mechanisms that I've learned to try to incorporate into my life so I stop doing that. The first one is meditation, and I put that asterisk there because meditation takes many different forms. For me personally, it does come in the form of prayer, usually. There have been many a times where it's been late into the midnight hour, as they would say, and I find myself in my living room in the dark just having a nice, good long convo with capital G-O-D. Late in the midnight hour, God's gonna turn around. He's gonna work in your favor, yes he is, yeah, and then late. Maybe you don't define your meditation through prayer. Maybe you define your meditation through music. Evelyn from the internet's recently put out a video on her channel where she and a few other amazing souls created this meditation session. I'll link to it in the description box if you're interested. It's a really great video, you should check it out. I will say if you are someone who is intimidated by the thought of meditation and you don't really know where to begin, one app I can recommend is Headspace. Hashtag not spawn, because who am I really here on the internet? Like, who am I really? But it is an app that I've actually started to use as well to get into the right mind to meditate and pray. Because for me, like I said, I feel like God is in the present. And whenever you can be still and present with yourself, God is there waiting for you. Number 2. Constant physical fitness. Y'all, I know it in my heart of hearts. In my heart of hearts, I know you don't feel like hearing this, but that endorphin hit you get from a 20-minute high-intensity workout sesh is real. It has lasting effects. And worldly physical attributes aside, one of the main reasons I try to be consistent with working out is for my overall mental health and that endorphin hit. Plus, for me, after I do a workout, I always am just like, dang, I showed up for myself today. I for sure did something that was for no one else but myself, and it makes me feel really good. So figure out what it is for you to be physically active consistently. Maybe it is as simple as just going on a 10 to 15 minute walk outside with your mask on. Or maybe it is just hitting up a Chloe Ting challenge in your living room here on YouTube. I don't know your life, but figure out how you can work more physical fitness into your day-to-day grind, because it really does make a huge difference. I'm already laughing just thinking about this one. I would strongly recommend talking to a kid, preferably one that's like under 5. I don't know what it is about these first 5 years, but wow. Kids are crazy. I have a nephew who is 3 years old, and it is always so fascinating for me to see and feel how small his world is. I frequently get calls from my nephew now informing me of his bowels and the state of his digestive system, and I'm kind of here for it.
I went poo-poo in the toilet.
You went poo-poo in the toilet?
Yeah, I can't went poo-poo.
That's amazing. You love to see it. It's an accomplishment for him. Hell, if my bowels and digestion are doing well, it's an accomplishment for me too. So talk to a kid. They really keep you grounded in a way that I think you lose as you get older. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. I entertain myself these days. Number 4, lose yourself in fiction. Now, I will say, before everything started happening, I was on my nonfiction grind. What is it? Smarter, faster, better, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, all of those books, all the self-help, all the productivity, ate it all up. Now, nah. Not interested in the slightest for self-improvement at the current time. When I was in film school, one of the first thing I learned about was narrative 3-act structure and the art of storytelling through that. And it's basically summed up in these 3 punctuation marks: the question mark, the exclamation point, and the period. As a Black woman, I feel like I'm constantly stuck in the exclamation point. And by the time the period does happen, it's rarely satisfactory. Oftentimes the denouement is just trash. The conviction doesn't happen, and if it does, the sentencing is light. So I find that I am retreating more and more into fiction, where the denouement makes sense and feels justified. I've been reading the Children of Blood and Bone series, and I'm gonna need her to put out the 3rd book like yesterday, but it's a really great series so far. If you're currently in your binging Netflix type life right now, I would highly recommend Kippo and the Age of Wonder Beasts. It is brought to us by the same studio that gave us 3C Moses, and it is just a delight of a show. Representation abound in it. If you've finished binge watching Avatar for the 5th or 6th time, and you're finally ready to kind of get out of 4x3 for a little while, check out Kippo. It is a really great segue from that, and it's a great show. It really is. Log off. Seriously. Log off sometimes. I have a Google Pixel it was free. I have a Google Pixel 4, and in it there is a feature on the phone called focus mode, where the phone actually shuts off a list of apps and makes it so I can't use them. I think its original design was to help with productivity, so you're not mindlessly scrolling on your phone when you should be getting work done. My phone now is constantly on focus mode. And I like it because when I do need to get on social media, because as you can see, this is part of my livelihood, so I can't truly all the way log off, it gives me a 5, 10, 15 incremental break to do what I need to do on these platforms, answer your comments, maybe upload something to Instagram, whatever the thing is. I take the necessary time and then I log back off. I also don't sleep with my phone in my room anymore. I actually keep my phone at my desk, which is in the living room. So that way, at night, I can actually focus on winding down and going to sleep and being more present with my partner. If you know of any other healthy coping mechanisms, please leave them down in the comments below, so that way we can swap ideas, so on and so forth. And thusly, if you've learned some things about yourself during this time that you realize maybe aren't the best coping mechanisms, feel free to share that too. I am a big believer in you don't have to make the mistakes I've made. Let me tell you about them so you don't. A big thank you to my Patreon production team, patreon.com/Halise if you're interested. There you get early access to videos as well as private weekly vlogs and also production classes from me. It's a good time. I call them my Patreon producers because they are helping me produce and manage this channel. Thank you so much. Again, patreon.com/Halise if you're interested. I'm Halise, and I'll see you when I see you. Love of all is happening to me. She's gone quite mad. She's gone quite mad. Why is she talking on the microphone? There's nothing here.